First, they came for Yuzu, but it did not speak out because I did not use Yuzu. Then they came for Vimslayer, but it did not speak out because I did not use Vimslayer. Then they came for Power World, but it did not speak out because I did not play Power World. Then they came for Ryujinx, and there was no one left to speak for it. The Nintendo ninjas are doing what the Nintendo ninjas do. Out of absolutely nowhere, the Ryujinx GitHub completely vanished. Initially, Discord users, mods, and project developers were completely lost on what was actually happening, with certain people trying to quell the fears. Ryujinx is not shut down. There's an issue with GitHub. Why do people insist on jumping to conclusions? Stop fear-mongering. To clarify, it's not a DMCA. It's not an issue with GitHub. Please wait for further information and refrain from spreading misinfo. Thanks. Also, no, GDK didn't get hacked. What the F? GDK is the lead developer of the project. But alas, GDK getting hacked would have been the good ending. This is one of those rare cases where I can actually say that. This was followed shortly after by an @everyone ping. Yesterday, GDK-chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project, remove the organization, and all related assets he's in control of. While awaiting confirmation on whether he would take this agreement, the organization has been removed, so I think it's safe to say what the outcome is. Rather than leave you with only panic and speculation, I decided to write this short message to give some closure. These words are my own. I don't want to speak for anyone else here, so just remember that while reading. Thank you to everyone who has contributed code, documentation, or issue reports to the project. Thank you all for following us throughout the development. I was able to learn a lot of really neat things about games that I love, enjoy them with renewed qualities and in unique circumstances, and I'm sure you all have experiences that are similarly special. Extending my own massive thanks to our moderation team, who has been here through some rough circumstances and always found ways to make light of it. I don't really believe in hard work going unrecognized, so I'm going to go quickly over some stuff we had working but weren't prepared to release. We had a working iOS port that ran really well, thanks to some amazing work on a special memory mode with a partitioned address space that both emulated 4KB pages and squeezed the process address space to fit within a ridiculous restriction. Without a UI or easy way to run JIT untethered, it remained a novelty, so is not released. The hardware is great, it's unfortunate that it's wrapped up in pointless restrictions. Now, whilst there's been some random speculation, we don't know what this deal entailed. Some people are thinking, oh, he was paid off. That doesn't seem in line with what Nintendo normally does. What seems more in line is, hey, we're not suing you yet, but if you don't stop working on the project, well, we'll see what the ninjas can do. But one thing we can be certain of is if there was talk of DMCA, it wouldn't have been done through GitHub's DMCA system. I don't like a lot of things about GitHub. One of the things I do like, though, is when DMCA notices are published, they are going to be public. So if we go to 2024, and this would have been sent during September, going down to the bottom right here, there is nothing related to the project. This does not definitively mean he didn't receive any sort of DMCA or any sort of threat. All it means is, if he did receive something, and this is the current speculation, that the ninjas showed up to his door in Brazil and handed him the notice. I was only half joking about the ninjas. Along with this, there is of course speculation about why Nintendo did this. And here's the very important thing. It doesn't really matter if what Nintendo is doing is legal. This is a single developer, a project, if you want to get the entire project involved, going up against Nintendo. They don't need to win. All they need to do is make you go broke. And you know what? Unlike a bunch of other AAA companies, Nintendo is doing pretty well. Also, the Switch sold pretty well as well, so they have a bit of money they can work with. By the time this goes live, I don't know if it's still going to be up, but right now, the Patreon is still visible. They have 8,000 members. Now, considering how much they're getting per month, a lot of these would be free members, but regardless, they are making $1,500 a month. I think that might be Australian dollars? I don't know, actually. This is basically the only thing directly connected to the project. Now, they've had the Patreon for a very long time, and Nintendo hasn't really cared. In the Yuzu situation, it's not the fact they had a Patreon, it's the fact that behind the paywall, there was a modified version that worked better for an unreleased game, which Nintendo very much didn't like. In this case, that's not what is happening, but again, it doesn't really matter what is legal and what is not. All they need to do is scare you. That earlier bit was speculation. Now we're in the pure speculation, not even directly linked to the project. This screenshot of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom running on Ryujinx was posted on September 12th, 2 full weeks before the game was officially set to release. I have to imagine this kind of thing is why Nintendo takes legal action against Switch emulators. Now, this was not posted by the Ryujinx team, and this is not a custom version of the emulator that better supports the game. This is some unaffiliated individual who wanted to post the game online. But I could very easily imagine Nintendo getting very angry about this happening and just going scorched earth. Sure, this is not a Tears of the Kingdom tier release, but it is still a Zelda game, and that is something they are very, very protective of. Of course, there's also the constant speculation of whatever console Nintendo releases next, whether it be a Switch 2, maybe a Switch Pro, some other form of Switch refresh, whatever they do. Probably shouldn't market it like the Wii U, where people think it is a controller for the Wii, otherwise it probably won't sell, but if it is a Switch 2, it's probably a fairly similar device to the Switch 1, which, at least without seeing the hardware, would indicate to me they probably function in a similar way, and they want to make sure emulation isn't there literally on day one. Now, unless they keep doing things like this and, I don't know, throwing emulation developers in jail, it's probably still going to happen pretty quickly if it is a similar piece of hardware, because the code didn't go away. It's just the main place to find it isn't there anymore because Git is decentralized and there are mirrors of it. Who knew? Imagine that. Now, something that is not speculation is what happened about 2 days before this went down. Retro Game Corp's, I hate making posts like this, but I received another copyright strike this morning. I'm going to have to change the way I make videos, where he showed off a Wii U game being emulated, not even a Switch game, a Wii U game, and got a strike for it. And considering the whole takedown of certain Nintendo ROMs on Vim's lair, this is pretty much on brand with current Nintendo. Now, I have no idea what the state is going to be like when this video goes live, but currently, the website is still available. When we look at packages on Linux, it seems like they're not going to go away. For example, the AUR package is now pointing instead to a mirror. There is also a Gen 2E build still around, and that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Also, the Flatpak repo is still present, and the Flatpak is built separately from the repo, so this still works. Now, very important, I will not encourage you to use this because, I don't know, Nintendo seems to think that's a crime. But it is available on the internet because it's Git and you don't just remove things like this. Now, whether or not a fork happens is another question. A lot of the people in the Switch emulation scene, you know, are kind of not in the emulation scene anymore because of the whole Yuzu situation. So, I don't think this is it forever, but I would be surprised if something comes back straight away. Now, there are some more experimental Switch emulators, and there are forks of Yuzu, but they're kind of just not really being developed, so it's kind of closer to a mirror that changes a couple of strings. Those alternative projects, those do exist, and those are being developed, but Ryujinx and Yuzu were so much further ahead than anything else. But what do you think? Were you a Ryujinx user? Did you use Yuzu? I would love to know. And what do you think Nintendo has on them, if they have anything? I'd love to know. So if you like the video, go like the video. And if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe, leave your pay linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and I am going to take a nap now. I have been awake since 5 a.m. It is currently 4:30 p.m. and I've been recording videos all day.